All right, man. So Eminem took some more shots in the media, and again, it seems like Eminem is an easy target. We live in a very racially charged up society where it's like it's black against white all over again, and of course, it's always been race issues in this country, but growing up, it didn't seem this bad, man. I don't know if it's the wokeness or what it is, man, but it seemed like division is getting stronger and stronger, and race is one of those ones. So anyway, Dr. Umar, if you don't know who that is, you could look him up. You probably know who that is already, but Dr. Umar was on Joe Budden's podcast, one of the most popular podcasts in the culture right now. Was on, and they're talking about, I didn't listen to the whole podcast, but they're talking about, I guess, racial stuff. I know Dr. Umar, for example, he's against interracial dating, period. I think it was a little bit funny. One of the co-hosts of the Joe Budden podcast, Dr. Umar asked him if he was dating outside his race, and he said he was, and he just tore into him, you know what I'm saying? And they were loving that on Twitter. But anyway, at some point, the conversation came to Eminem, and Dr. Umar said that Eminem couldn't be the greatest rapper, or couldn't even be in the conversation because he's white, and a white person can't, be considered good at anything black. And I think that's just a stupid argument, man. It's just dumb. You know what I'm saying? First of all, I've never heard Eminem disrespect the culture, disrespect rap culture. If anything, he's done the opposite. But when it comes to the greatest rapper, I think that you can't really say one particular rapper is the greatest of all time, because it's about opinion. I think that there's a group of rappers, maybe 10 to 15 rappers, that you can put in that conversation of the greatest of all time. You can mention one out of this group and not sound crazy saying that they're the greatest of all time. Of course, you get the Jay-Z, Nas, Tupac, Biggie, KRS-One, LL Cool J, Rakim, Jadakiss even, Lil Wayne. Eminem is also in that conversation. So Eminem is in one of the GOAT conversations, man. But it just speaks to how much of a clickbait this can be, because if you put Eminem in any kind of title, even with these clips, if I put Eminem in the title, it's going to get more views. But I think that's fine if you're speaking good of somebody. But what I don't like in society and culture is that when people use folks for views and talk bad about them for views. You know what I mean? That's the definition of clickbait, man. But yeah, I don't agree with that, man. I think that Eminem is in that conversation. And I'm a little bit biased because I'm from Detroit. And you got to understand Detroit, man. This is one of the reasons why I hate the fact that Eminem doesn't get the respect he deserves in Detroit, man. He just doesn't. He just don't, man. Very, very much disrespected. But I remember a time when Detroit rap was an afterthought. Nobody represented Detroit. And shout out to those like Awesome Dre. I think he had one of the first major record deals out of Detroit. But really, it wasn't nobody out of Detroit in the rap scene. You had Motown, Anita Baker, shout out to them. But for hip hop, we were nowhere on the map. And I remember Eminem representing Detroit to the fullest and kind of like let the world know that we had dope MCs, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'll always be a little bit biased towards Eminem for that, because I remember when Detroit rap wasn't in thought at all. And now the fact that like the whole world is loving Detroit rap is crazy. We came a long way. But I think Eminem is one of the greatest, man. Is he number one? I don't know. But you can definitely make an argument he's in the top 5. You can make a good argument he's in the top 5, man, and not sound crazy. Lyrically, he's a monster. Commercially, he's done well. Culture, he's affected culture. So shout out to Eminem, man. But I think that a lot of this stuff going on is just feeding into the whole race war. So if you can say something about somebody's race, and whether they're black or white or Hispanic, if you can create that conversation, you're going to get a lot of clicks. You're going to get a lot of traction on your post if you can make it about race. You go to any blog, man. Go to any blog, urban blog, and like just read the comments. Anytime it's like a person that's white or a white against black or anything, the comments just like they'll make anything about race, and these blogs and these podcasts, they feed on that because they know it's going to create controversy. They're going to comment back and forth. And meanwhile, their podcast is getting all these views and they can go get sponsorship dollars, man. I think that it's just crazy how this race war is really stirring up a lot of foolishness in media, man. So I think that whole thing with Dr. Umar and Eminem was kind of foolish, man. But shout out to everybody. Shout out to Dr. Umar. Shout out to Eminem, whatever. But I think it's crazy, man.